Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Captain C.A. Richardson here, and today's lesson on FlatsClass YouTube is going to be all about the perfect topwater rod. What is the perfect topwater rod? Well, I'm here to tell you there is no one perfect rod. It depends on a few questions that you have to ask yourself, and I'm going to share those with you right now. Okay, let's talk about some of the questions you might want to ask yourself when choosing the perfect topwater rod. A lot of it has to do with, honestly, just personal preference. It really does. All that being said, that might be your physique, how you are fishing. Are you a bank fisherman? Are you a kayak fisherman? Are you standing on the deck of a skiff or a center console? All of those could affect the length of the rod. So in most cases, for topwater rods, I find that something in that 6'9", 6'10" to 7'4" range is actually the best. Most of us settle on 7 foot to 7'3" rods. That's a homogenized opinion, if you will, amongst a lot of my friends that fish artificials on a fairly regular basis. That's pretty much all they do. Another consideration that you really need to make is what weight lure you are going to throw. And what I mean by that is there's generally 2 rod weights that you're going to throw in those links. You're either going to throw a medium weight rod or you're going to throw a medium heavy. Now, if you're going to throw a full-size top dog like this one here, you're going to need a medium heavy. If you're going to throw something like a Mirrolure, okay, much smaller topwater, you're going to want a medium. So right there, you're starting to make that shift. You've determined how you're going to fish or what personally fits best for you lengthwise with your physique or your style. And now you've determined what weight rod you're going to throw, whether it's medium or whether it might be medium heavy. Now, something else to consider, and I've talked about this in earlier YouTube clips, if you're throwing a single hook lure, such as this would be something that would be a small to medium topwater, but it's got these big inline hooks. If you're going to throw larger inline hooks, I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to want a medium heavy, not a medium. And that's because you're going to need that backbone to get the hook setting ability to drive those hooks home. Here's another consideration, and I know they've become popular in the summer months when we're fishing overhanging mangroves and we're fishing a lot of these flats that have what I call grass sheds on them. And that's fishing these single hook baits like pop shads or even frog style baits or goat style baits that Z-Man has. And we like them because they're weedless. You can rig them on these big single hook EWGs, and they're fantastic for that. But again, you're going to need a medium heavyweight rod to be able to drive those home. Now, there's one other thing that you really got to consider when you're picking your medium heavy and your medium, and that's your tip. Here's how I determine it. If I have treble hooks, especially finer wire treble hooks like you would see on a Mirrolure, or maybe this Duke dog, they're pretty piercing and they're pretty sharp. And again, I'm that guy that's done a lot of video clips where I change treble hooks out. Maybe I change to the BKK style or the Mustad's KVD style. And those are very sharp hooks, chemically sharpened trebles. And I mash the barbs down so it has even better hook penetration. In those cases, you should go with a moderate fast, because I believe it is harder for the fish once he attacks the lure and you get into him and that rod kind of heels over a little deeper in the blank. You don't lose the fish, because like my old buddy Captain Al Keller said all the time back in the day when we used to fish the redfish tours, the problem with topwater is it's a freaking topwater. So the fish seem to roll or bounce off the topwater very easy. It's easy for them to throw it. So having that more moderate fast tip, that softer tip, even though it's a medium heavyweight rod, might be the best choice. But there are a few scenarios where you have to go with a faster tip. That's a tip that doesn't bend as much. That might be, again, if you're throwing one of these big single inline deals, or maybe throwing that frog or that goat style bait. But in my opinion, if you're fishing cover like a narrower creek that has lots of marsh and oyster and things like that in it, where you're going to need to have a lot of control over the fish, you can't let them get in behind something or around something. If you're fishing these little back ponds that have lots of mangroves and stuff and the fish can run under stuff, lots of times you have to go to that faster action rod, and you just have to be a little bit more, what I would say, cognizant. Once you set the hook, you're going to have that drag a little slipperier. But all that said and done, a lot of this is personal preference. So you're probably wondering, what is my preference? Well, it depends on the style. If I'm a spinning rod guy, now you got to consider my size and whatnot. But if I'm going to throw a spinning rod, and I don't hide this, I am a paid pro staffer for Fitzgerald rods, but you take that information and you just draw a parallel to what you want. But they have a series called the Aqua Dream series, and the two rods in that series that work the best for being a good topwater rod is their medium 7'2". I find that to be perfect for medium and small topwaters. And then they have a medium heavy 7'2", which I find to be perfect for these much larger topwaters. So, or the frogs or goat style baits or pop shad style baits. So if you're a spinning rod guy, that would be the direction that I would push you, thinking that, okay, this is going to work for you in almost every case. Now, conversely, if you're a casting rod guy, which everyone knows I am, excuse me while I take another sip of coffee. If you're a casting rod guy, naturally you're going to want to, or I would want to choose in the Fitzgerald lineup, I like their 7'3" all-purpose medium. It's a good medium to small topwater walking style rod. It does a good job. When I'm throwing the bigger stuff, the heavier topwaters, I would more than likely go to the medium heavy, moderate fast, because it still has some tip to it in most cases. Sometimes I would go to their fast if it was just maybe the frog style bait or the pop shad style bait. But that 7'3" size and that 7'2" length works best for me. Most of the time, as you know, I'm standing on the deck of a boat. I'm not on the bank and I'm not in a kayak. A lot of kayak guys like 7-foot rods, but I have talked to plenty of kayak anglers that are in FlatsClass University that tell me they use rods up to 7'6". I would find that extremely fatiguing myself for my forearms, my elbow, and just holding a rod that big to do walk the dog actions all the time, whether it's to the side or over the top. But personally, open water fishing and creek fishing and all kinds, I don't think you can have one topwater rod. So the answer is, the perfect topwater rod is probably to have 2 or 3 of them, honestly. If you found this to be an interesting YouTube tip here at FlatsClass YouTube, please comment, share, give us that thumbs up, which helps us trend, and please subscribe. I need you guys to subscribe. If this kind of information really trips your trigger and you want to dive even deeper into stuff that we talk about, go over to FlatsClassUniversity.com. We've got a great online fishing community over there and fishing school courses that I think you would enjoy. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Well, in the meantime, you guys keep those rods bent catching fish, and I'll keep more videos coming. Have a great day.